In this timeline, the battle was coming up as it was getting closer and closer and closer. Lilith would realize something. As she was laying down, she realized that, well, if the battle didn't go her way, they're gonna blame her, maybe even kick her out of heaven. She couldn't allow that to happen, even though she liked Charlie. After all, she was her daughter after all, but her happiness comes first, as she would use a spell to call Alastor. As Lilith would then tell Alastor. As Alastor would be sitting there, he would say, "Is it time?" Lilith would say yes. "But the battle, I don't care. I want you to use it. I gave you that item for a reason, Alastor. Once you use it, we'll win." Alastor would say, "Yes, but that's all." As Lilith... Alastor would then sigh as he couldn't believe this. It's not like he cared about Charlie, but she was a woman. A gentleman would never hurt a woman. This would lead her to be hurt, but he has to do what he has to do. Alastor, in the first time in a long time, would actually have doubts about what he's doing, as he couldn't believe this. What was this? Was this a conscious? Alastor would sit down, as Husk would give him a drink. Husk was confused. Usually Alastor's there to be smug. Usually Alastor's there to, well, show him something, not look down and drink. This was unlike Alastor. Sure, he had a few drinks here and there, but he didn't drink at a bar. As Alastor would look down, Husk would say, "What's wrong?" As Alastor would say, "Well, let's just say this. I don't think you'll have to worry about this hotel for much longer. Don't tell anyone I said that." As Alastor walked off, he actually looked sad. Husk was confused. Did he care about the hotel? Why was it going to go down? Why was it going to get destroyed? Husk then sighed, as then he decided not to care. Of course, the one thing he actually liked is going to go away. He just started to like this ragtag group of misfits. As the days passed, it got closer and closer to the battle with Adam. As we cut to Alastor, as he would be walking away, Alastor needed to get something very important for his mission. As Alastor would look around, he would be extremely paranoid. If someone followed him, his overlord status would be over. If someone followed him and found out what he was going to do, his reputation would be gone. And even worse, Lucifer himself might be after him. Alastor knew that this was risky, but he had no other choice. As he waited and waited and waited, as a few hours passed, suddenly Loot would fly down. As Alastor would say, "What took you so long?" Loot would say, "Shut up, filthy demon, here." As in, Loot would give Alastor a special amulet. Put it in the princess's pocket when the battle starts. As in, she flew away. As Alastor would sigh, he couldn't believe that he was doing this. He couldn't believe that he was going to betray Charlie, but he had to. As Alastor would then walk back to the hotel. Alastor sits there, he would keep up his appearance, pretending to be on Charlie's side, pretending to be on everyone's side. But it would get to him, the lies, everything he was saying. He loved to be truthful. He loved to show his intent through radio. He was evil, but he wasn't a liar. Well, now he was. He gave up everything just to be free. As the time passed, eventually the battle would begin. Although this time, as Charlie was out there fighting, suddenly Alastor would put an amulet in Charlie's pocket as she would fall to the floor, as she felt sick. As Vaggie would say, "Charlie," as she ran, suddenly Alastor would grab her with a tentacle, as she would say, "What the F are you doing?" As Charlie began to cough and fall to the floor, as Loot would say, "We can cure her, but you need to surrender." As Vaggie would say, "I'm not gonna," Loot would say, "Oh, looks like your little girlfriend will perish then." As then Vaggie sighed, said, "Alright, we surrender." As they all dropped their weapons, the angels began to fly off as they won. And Loot said, "Oh, to make sure you don't try this again." Suddenly she would stab Vaggie as she would fall to the floor. No more. As then Loot would say, "Very well, Alastor, we may have use for you. Come up with us." Alastor would then go up with the angels. As everyone was shocked, as Vaggie was no more, suddenly Charlie was almost near death, when Lucifer would fly down and heal her, and say, "What happened, Charlie?" As then Charlie would tell Lucifer everything. As Lucifer cried and said, "I'm sorry, it was too late, Dad, it's not your fault," as they would cry and hug each other. But then Lucifer looked up at the sky and said, "F you, Alastor. If I ever find you, I will destroy you." As we cut to Alastor, who's walking up in heaven. As Alastor walked with them all, suddenly Adam would look back and say, "Why are we keeping him around? Why can't we just dispose of him?" Loot would say, I would like to, but he helped us. Without him, we would have lost. We were bull crap. Did you see me, Loot? I'm effing awesome. Loot would sigh and say, but it's our orders too. Sarah would say, that's right. Alastor came in handy, and Alastor knows hell better than anyone, so we've decided to turn him into an exorcist. However, he will not be allowed into heaven. We've made a limbo where he can stay. We've recreated the Garden of Eden and separated from heaven. He will no longer be a demon or an angel. He'll be in between. He'll be an agent working for us, and that will be his job for eternity, or he'll be destroyed. Isn't that right, Alastor? Alastor would sigh and say, yep, that's right. As they would bring Alastor to the Garden of Eden. As they left, suddenly Lilith would get up and say, ah, good, you did what I told you. As Lilith would then smirk, so my little puppet's here to help me again, as she got up. Looks like you're an outcast in hell now. Everyone down there hates you. Instead of fearing you, now they hate you and think you're a coward. How does that feel to have your reputation be ruined? Alastor would again get more mad, but he had an idea. As in Lilith would say, well, next extermination, they'll bring you down too, so get ready. Alastor would nod. Alastor knew that Lucifer would come after him, and that's when he would strike. He knew he'd be surrounded by exorcists, but during the chaos, he could escape a few of them and ask him for help. This could get him destroyed. He knew Lucifer would be mad at him, but once he told him who was pulling the strings, he'll have no choice but to help him out. We cut to the next exorcism. As the exorcists flew down, they began to torch the city, just like in normal, but this time, Alastor was with them. And Alastor carried a weapon. People would scream and yell at Alastor, call him a traitor, but he didn't care, as he simply pushed forward. This was his life now. Or at least, this is how he thought it would be. As suddenly, exorcists behind him began to disappear, as Lucifer walked up in front of him. As Lucifer punched Alastor, Alastor would say, wait, why shouldn't I destroy you? Give me one reason why I should let you live. Alastor would say, I'll give you a big reason. Lilith, she put me up to this. Your ex had your daughter almost die. And I have a way to get back at her. But you're gonna need me, Alastor would say as he looked at Lucifer. As Lucifer would look at Alastor and say, fine, what's your plan? As then, Lucifer would throw Alastor an amulet. This is the same one you used on my daughter. I want you to use it on Lilith. Got that? Alastor would say, great, but once she's gone, they'll expect me. That's why I use this. Lucifer would throw him a teleporter. What's this? It'll teleport you deep into hell. Deep into the forest where you can hide out. Also, there's some cults worshiping you on Earth. They can, once they off themselves, they can be like a little army for you. That's all I'm gonna give you. Everyone down here will be after you. It'll be you against the world. Are you prepared for that? Alastor would say, I wouldn't have it any other way. Then Lucifer would say, then go. And if I ever see you again, I'm gonna end you. Lucifer would say, as in, Alastor would nod. As he would go off with the exorcists, helping them wipe out some more demons. As then, he'll be brought up to heaven to meet with Lilith once again. As Alastor would then walk up to Lilith and say, yes, I am. Lilith would say, good. I gave you those powers, you know. You should be thankful. And now, you're infamous. Everyone fears you down there. Everyone looks at you with disgust up here. But guess what? The angels up here will fear you too soon. Soon you'll be infamous. All thanks to me. You should thank me, you know. Suddenly, Alastor would drop the amulet on Lilith as she would fall down to the floor and begin to cough.
Said, I made you. Alastor would say, shut up. You may have gave me these powers, but thanks to you, I had to betray someone dear to me. But without you, I don't have a limiter. You gave me lots and lots of power, but you put a limit on it. Now I can make my own cult, and now I can become more powerful than ever. Of course, there'll always be people after me, but since I'm the 5th strongest overlord in hell, it won't be easy for them to take me out. And even the stronger ones, well, I have a plan for each and every one of them. I'll be pulling the strings now, and I'll be ruling hell one day. But I gotta start off small, with a small army of 20 elite soldiers. In 10 years, it'll be 200. Ta-ta, Alastor would say as he teleported away. Alastor was not a rogue, as the exorcists, if they came down, would wipe him out, as every demon in hell wanted to get rid of him, as he was in a small wooden cabin with 20 elite soldiers. That's it to defend him. against hundreds of demons that would come his way. But Alastor was not scared, as now he must set up a plan, and now Alastor must start his journey to try to take hell for himself. But that'll be a tale for another day.
And that's going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know you thought of these videos down in the comments below. I really enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. It was really fun for me to make. And, well, I just hope you enjoyed it, honestly. Because I've thought about this a while. Because the whole theory is that Lilith controls Alastor's soul, and that's why she sent him there to make sure that she's well taken care of. Now, there's a theory that Rosie controls his soul, but I always go with Lilith because I feel like there's way more possibilities with Lilith. And that's why I hope it's not Lilith, ironically. Because I feel like with Lilith, there's so many possibilities, and it's so obvious, it's clearly a red herring. And it'll be such a great twist if it ends up being Nifty, or something like that. But no matter who it is, I'm sure it's going to be a good reveal. And I'm sure VisiPop is going to do a great job. I remember first watching Hazbin Hotel when it first came out. I was like, what is this? What is happening? And I got into it for like 3 weeks, and then I lost interest. Like, I was obsessed for 3 weeks, and then I never thought about that for like months and months. Then Hell of Lost came out, and I started watching that a lot. Then I kind of lost interest. Then I got back into it again. And I was like, this is gold. And right when I was starting to lose interest, they released a new season of Hazbin Hotel, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. I rewatched it over and over, and then I watched Hell of a Boss over again. It was just such a great experience. And then I said, hey, why don't I make a couple what if? Because what happened was, I watched the old season of Hazbin Hotel. I'm like, I have to make a video about it. I just have to. And I did, and it blew up, and now I make Hazbin Hotel videos, and that's the story, you know? And that's a lesson, you know? Sometimes you can make what you're interested to into, well, a hobby or career. Sometimes you can turn it into passion, you know? And that's what, if you want to be a YouTuber, that's what I recommend. Find something you love. Find someone you absolutely like and make videos about it. Describe it. And if you find someone you like better, go ahead, try it out. Now, of course, if you want to get views, you have to, like, kind of moderate out. But when you're just starting out, find something that you like and find something that you think will work. And try it. Work with it. It will take a while for you to figure out what works and what doesn't. And while you're doing that, don't forget to have fun. Because life can be cruel. Life can be hard, but it can also be magical. It can also be like a miracle. And we all need to have fun. So all of you people out there, never forget to have fun. Love you. Peace out.